Well, good morning to you. It is a Friday. That's right. Hashtag finally Friday. We've got a couple of special guests for you on this edition of Up to the Minute. Glad to have you with us this morning. We've got Frank Cooper in the house, who's my co-host this morning. Before we get to my guest, here is Frank.
Happy Friday, ladies and gents. It's Friday. Man, I cannot wait for the weekend. I'm so excited. No snow, no apocalypse is happening this weekend that we should hope not. I'm just happy, guys. Look, HCC Up to the Minute is on YouTube. Yes, it's not a newsflash. It's on YouTube, though. 5 days a week. Catch all the latest episodes on there. All you got to do is search HCC Up to the Minute. We're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of our social media sites. Let's grow the show, guys.
All right, Frank, stick around. We'll be checking in with you in a little while. As mentioned, we've got a couple of special guests this morning. Sandra Louvier is the director of HCC's Northwest Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship. Good morning to you, Sandra.
Good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me again.
We're excited to have you because we're going to be talking about the Mattress Mack School of Selling. Exciting. So we've got that coming up later on in the show. Stick around, Sandra. We'll be with you very shortly. But first, I want to welcome our first guest. Jenny Waldo is an HCC Filmmaking Program coordinator and also an independent filmmaker with a brand new film, Acid Test. We are looking forward to hearing from you. You're also a NISOD Award winner for teaching excellence. Congratulations and good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy Friday, everybody.
I know it's, I was talking the other day and it seems like these days just keep melding together. It's just one long day, when you're working remotely. So it's good to have you with us, but I want to talk about yourself and your background before you came to HCC.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I kind of discovered I wanted to be a filmmaker in college, ended up doing my master's in film in LA at USC, and then life took me to Houston. So I've been making independent films here and working in the independent film kind of world. I do both documentaries as well as scripted, and worked for a nonprofit organization based here called SWAMP, the Southwest Alternate Media Project, helping filmmakers. And so, yeah, that all kind of led me to teaching here at HCC.
And you've been teaching with the film program. What brought you to HCC?
Yeah, so I had been working at SWAMP and was looking to kind of transition into teaching. I had wanted to kind of have enough work and experience under my belt before I actually taught anybody. And I was actually at HCC putting on a teen filmmaking camp for SWAMP and was talking to the chair of the program at the time, Eric Nitzberg, and was just like, hey, I'd love to start teaching. Do you have any openings? And because of my background in documentary, that was kind of a place in the program that they didn't have any instruction or experienced teachers. And so he said, would you like to create and put together your own documentary class here and try it out as an adjunct? And that was kind of how I started. Then I started taking on other classes. And then eventually they had an opening for a full-time hire. And then I became voted in as the program coordinator. And so it just keeps rolling.
Well, let's talk about the filmmaking industry in Houston. I can remember back in the 80s, there was talk of Houston being the third coast. And we were making a number of films back in the 80s and moved into the 90s. A number of famous films were made here in the Houston area. But what's the filmmaking industry like now when we compare ourselves to places like Austin or Atlanta or Los Angeles?
Yeah, well, definitely Houston has, a much kind of smaller scene, and especially when we think about the feature films or even television, there's more of the kind of Hollywood scene in Austin, and Atlanta is a huge market. A lot of that has to do with tax incentives, programs that the states have done. But Houston actually has a really thriving industry, and a lot of the people that worked on those old, films like RoboCop 2 and, Reality Bites and things like that, they're still here, and they're these, wonderful filmmakers and, at the top of their game. And then, new people coming up. A lot of people are coming to the Houston area or Texas from Los Angeles for the style of life, choices. And so the bread and butter of Houston is really commercial work. And then we also have a lot of, corporations here that need media. And
Right.
so there's a lot of that kind of going on. And then people who want to, there's a lot of reality TV, and then people who want to tell fictional stories or documentaries, though they're kind of here doing it as they can. So it's a little bit of a Wild West still here, I think, in Houston, but we've got some wonderful people here, and it's a great community.
You mentioned the tax incentives very briefly, but when you're a filmmaker and you're working on a very limited budget, that's got to be very attractive to come to Houston or Austin in these areas where we're a lot more money friendly for filmmakers.
The tax incentives are kind of a rabbit hole and a show unto themselves. There's definitely a lot of great things about the tax incentive program. The main thing is that it all is based on the money that is put into Texas filmmakers. So you're not giving it back to people who are living in LA or, elsewhere. It's all for money that's spent in Texas. But because Texas doesn't have state income tax, we don't have a pool of money to kind of directly pull from, like
Right.
a state like Georgia. So the return is also very different, but then it also becomes, we're not really comparing dollar for dollar, because the dollar that you make in Texas when you don't have to pay state income tax as an employee is so different
Right.
than in, Georgia, or, when you live in a city like Los Angeles where there's a city tax on top of state tax,
Right.
So it's a good program, but definitely needs help too.
Let's talk about your first feature film. I'm bet you're very excited about that. It's called Acid Test. Tell us about that journey and a little bit about the film itself.
Yeah, so Acid Test is a punk rock coming of age story. It's based on kind of unfortunately true tales from my own life. And it's about a young girl who's inspired to kind of by Riot Girl music, which is this very kind of specific, very feminist forward punk that was started in the 90s. And she basically goes through this kind of rebellion, self-discovery process, and she drops acid, and she it's just this kind of tumble into adulthood. And it all started with a short film that I directed. It premiered in 2017 and went to festivals like Austin Film Festival. And it was kind of my next push as a director. I had been, helping to produce some other people's work and really wanted to start focusing again on my own voice as a filmmaker. And so I decided to start with a short film and then kind of launch that into a feature. So we shot the feature. Now, because of COVID, it's kind of the extension of post-production. We're just wrapping it up. We shot it in the summer of 2019, and I had about 20 students from HCC work on the project, which was really amazing. It's always one of those things as a teacher and as a filmmaker that I'm constantly trying to connect my students with professionals in the industry so that they can, jump into jobs. And so we're wrapping it up. Oh, I got an unstable internet. Am I back? So we're wrapping it up, and we're hoping to premiere in a film festival this year. And so we're kind of trying to put that all together, but it's very exciting. It's my first feature as a director, and it's a totally different journey than with short films, because you can actually sell a feature film and potentially make some money. So it's new territory for me. I'm excited.
So it goes to show though how long the film process takes. I know COVID may have delayed things, but you shot this in 2019. We're really not that far from the summer of 2021. Films do take a while. Do your students have that perception that films are an overnight thing, that you're putting them together pretty quickly?
Yes, I think and to a certain extent, I think the YouTube generation, the things like Facebook Live, the technology allows for people to be able to do some things like that, but it's very difficult to do that and to do it to the level of, a lot of the things that we're used to from the Hollywood system. It just takes time.
Right. Especially when you're an independent filmmaker working a full-time job, and doing other things and doing the film kind of on the side. Obviously, you're looking at getting this into a film festival. When you do, we'd love to have you back on the program and see how things are going with the film.
Thank you. I'm excited.
JD Waldo, HCC Filmmaking Program Coordinator, and also an independent filmmaker. We'll put the link to your trailer in the social media post for the show so folks can get a chance to check it out. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for being here. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All right. Another person we're going to wish a happy Friday to, Sandra Louvier, the director of HCC Northwest's Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship. She's joining us this morning to talk about a partnership with Mattress Mack, the Mattress Mack School of Selling. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Thank you, Todd. Yes, it's called the HCC Mattress Mack School of Selling. And when he says it, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
We launched the program just this month, and we're two sessions into the 6-session series. And it all started with Dr. Zachary Hodges.
Yeah, and I saw he posted something in, I believe, on either LinkedIn or Facebook about launching the school. And I guess he'd had some conversations with Mack in the past about this and was able to get him on board. What can students expect out of this?
Well, there are 6 major sessions, and they're on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 12, and they can expect Mattress Mack's philosophy of selling to be delivered through the development of these 6 sessions and these 6 topics based upon collaboration with Mattress Mack. Then we have 2 excellent and talented presenters from HCC who have developed the content in collaboration with Mike Feinberg, who also works with Mattress Mack. He founded the KIPP schools, the KIPP charter schools. And so Dr. Hodges collaborated with Mack over 3 years, and then brought in David Regenbaum to collaborate with Mike Feinberg and Mattress Mack. And then we brought in 2 presenters to fully develop the content. And so we've been developing the content for about 6 months, and now it's all ready to roll out. So we're excited about this, especially the 2 presenters that are involved to present along with Mattress Mack.
So if someone's watching right now and they're like, well, Mattress Mack, he sells furniture, he's been very successful at that, but what can he do for me? What would be, I don't want to give away the class, but what would be some of the highlights that people are going to learn that could translate into their everyday life? Because I would imagine you don't have to be a salesperson to take this class and benefit from it.
That's right. In fact, we do a little poll in some of our sessions. In the last session, we had anywhere from 250 to 220 people in the session, and 100 of them were small business owners. Yeah. But you can also be an employee of a small business owner who just wants to help your employer's business grow so you can accelerate your own career. Or you can improve your sales skills. Mattress Mack says everyone is a salesperson because you're always selling your ideas. So it can accelerate your career, and you use sales skills throughout your day to convince people to follow along with your ideas.
Now, you've already had a couple of sessions. How is it going right now? Because I understand the response has been phenomenal. You mentioned 200 and some odd, but you've got a total attendance of nearly 500 people that have shown up for these sessions?
Already, just for 2 sessions, yes, and it's partly due to the presenters as well. Mattress Mack has recorded videos, and so he's always featured in the beginning to introduce the section the session through videos. And then we have two primary presenters, Austin Tennette and Dr. Kimberly Burrows. And Austin is a long-term life coach and business skills coach. And he's also our entrepreneur in residence at HCC for HCC Northeast. And then Dr. Kimberly Burrows is the executive director of our 10,000 Small Businesses program, the HCC Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And they've developed the content. So these first two sessions this week are so compelling and they've been so much fun. They were the art of listening. The art of listening was the first one. Dr. Kimberly Burrows did that one. And then Austin yesterday did persistence. And so it's been amazing. The art of listening was so awesome because we listened to videos throughout that helped us better understand what listening is all about in terms of who do you listen to the most? So we asked questions like, do you listen to your boss the most, your colleagues, or your customer? And it turned out that people were saying, well, I listen to my boss or I listen to my colleagues. And it's like, wait a sec, what about the customer here?
Yeah, that's a great point. So if you happen to miss the first couple of sessions, can you still benefit and can you still join in for the rest of them?
Absolutely. We have a link that I think will scroll across the screen.
Yeah,
but yes,
social media post for the show. Yep, we'll have the link up there.
And there's 4 sessions coming up. I'm looking forward to next week. It's the ability to say no. And then we have, after that, caring customer service. Then we'll take a break for spring break, and then we'll come back. And on March 23rd, building a book of business. And then we'll wrap it up with what you learn after you think you know it all.
All right, and those are coming up now. If you want to attend these, do you have to sign up ahead of time? Is there a fee? And then where would you go to do? We'll put the link on here, but is it as easy as just joining in live, or do you sign up ahead of time?
Yes, in the future we might do this as a cohort where you have to apply, get accepted, and once it starts, you move into the whole thing. But for this first introductory program, you can just sign up for one session at a time, and you do have to sign up for one session at a time in advance through, if you go to, it's http tiny.cc HCC MMSS. So that stands for HCC Mattress Mack School of Selling.
Yeah,
so
and we'll have that link in the post of this show if you didn't catch it all, so don't worry about that. Now tell us about some of the reviews you've been getting from the students who've been taking the class. What have you heard?
Oh my goodness, they've been fabulous. In fact, we got one yesterday. It says, you're taking HCC to another level, a regional provider in the greater Houston area, and you're helping your students, but you're reaching out into the community to empower people. And we thought, that's so beautiful because that's what we intended, and that's what Mattress Mack does too. So it's been an amazing opportunity to help people throughout the greater Houston area all be better and do better in their professional lives.
Real quickly, we've got a couple of other things. We have some time we want to mention. The 2021 business plan competition, is that underway? And then you also have stage 2 of the Veterans Entrepreneurship Program. That is part of the Small Business Success Series by HCC. Real quickly, tell us about the status of those.
Okay, the business plan competition, we're in our 14th annual competition, and we accepted our teams in, and we started training this week. So we have about 100 people involved in our training sessions because we have 27 teams that were accepted into the competition with about 50 team members and then 50 advisors, and they'll go through training all spring as they develop and polish the assumptions in their business plans. It's for proposed startup and existing entrepreneurs. Then they'll turn their plans in May. They'll turn their slides and their 1-minute videos in May. We'll choose finalists, and we'll have finalist presentations on June 3rd. And then on June 10th, we'll celebrate all the graduating teams from the competition. So we're excited about that. And then the Small Business Success Series by HCC, we're now opening up the application period for our 4th cohort. And this one's specifically for veterans and veteran spouses. So we're excited about this because we partnered with Wells Fargo Bank to deliver this program at no cost. And it's part of our overall Veterans Entrepreneurship Program that's 3 stages. So stage 1 is still underway. Stage 2 is accepting applications. And then stage 3 will be some entrepreneur panels and a business plan competition for the veterans. But it's great to be able to offer this to about 40, this 5-week program with 15 events that are progressive to develop their business skills so that they can do better at starting or growing their small businesses. We're really excited about it. We already have 3 cohorts graduated, and now this will be a 4th cohort for veterans and veteran spouses only.
You got a lot of exciting things going on, Sandra. Sandra Louvier, director of HCC's Northwest Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship. We'll have the link to the center in the social media posts for the show so you can check out all their programs. Thanks for being here, Sandra.
Thank you. Thanks, Todd.
Mattress Mack, we said hi.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, Sandra. Okay, we're going to move on to Frank Cooper with our HCC news, events, and announcement. Frank, we've got a transfer fair that's going on for high school students getting information on HCC, and also if you want information on partnering universities.
Absolutely. So both fairs are next Wednesday. So our university transfer allows students to interact directly with reps from several of our university partners across the state, nation, and even the world. So check the website for the spring lineup, but the next one is actually 4:30 to 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 10th. And then also the HIZ seniors can also learn more about HCC workforce and academic programs with these interactive sections. And another one is on 3:30 that same day, March 10th, which is Wednesday. So we'll have the link to register for both virtual fairs, and I'll post below after the show.
All right, Rec Sports, they're keeping busy by keeping you fit, and today's no exception. Guess what today is, Frank? The return of the V Sisters with Twerk Fitness.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, we're all fans. So students, faculty, and staff can register through Presence or Goose Chase, and we'll have those links in the social media post, also an email address. But you can join the V Sisters today and every Friday for Twerk Fitness. Financial literacy during COVID, there's workshops with rebuilding 401ks, IRAs, savings accounts, and more. It's a very important subject, and it happens on Tuesday, March the 9th, next Tuesday, from 3 to 4 p.m. Check our events calendar on hccs.edu. And it's Filmmaking Fridays. We've got a learning series available for our students, Frank.
Yes, so these weekly presentations by local, regional, and national entertainment industry professionals continue with Michelle Maurer. So that's noon to 2 p.m. Wednesday, March 10th. And it's free registration is required though. So for more information about that, go to michael.cohn, C-O-H-N at hccs.edu.
And free groceries continue. Food insecurity remains a problem in the Houston area, and our students are no exception. Registration is still taking place at the Houston Food Bank's Community Health Market Trailers, which will be at multiple HCC campuses. All HCC community members can sign up to receive free groceries. Just pick a campus, date, and time you'd like to pick up your food. If you have any questions about the Student Life Project, we'll have an email address in the social media post for the show. And one thing to keep in mind, Frank, there was an announcement made this week that the Flex Campus option will not be happening for the spring semester. There was some hope we'd get students back to campus after spring break. That's just not going to work out because it'll disrupt the learning schedule. So they will be opening up some more labs though. So if you're currently have a lab that's online, check your schedule, check with your professor because they are opening up some labs. So they'll have small classes available on campuses for lab-based courses. There's one website, though, they can go to, Frank, for all registration needs.
Absolutely. So that's hccs.edu/now.
And we do have year-round enrollment, so don't let it stop you from enrolling today. So, Frank, it's going to be a big weekend, especially for basketball, because I believe we've got the All-Star game. But, you know, for some reason, I didn't see any Rockets.
You know what? I didn't either. I saw a former Rocket.
Yeah.
Count?
Yeah, I guess. What's the deal? They're retiring James Harden's jersey. He didn't want to play for you anymore. He left, okay, gave up on the team, but let's go ahead and retire his jersey. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on it too. I guess the way the Rockets are looking at it is that, you know, even though it was a sour ending, you did give, 8-9 seasons of your career here.
Yeah.
Multiple times, multiple Western Conference, Western Conference finals appearances. I mean, they came up short, but he was a prime piece for a long time here in the city of Houston for sure.
I see, but he wasn't Hakeem Olajuwon, where Hakeem was entrenched in this community. He went to U of H. It was a dream story, the dream, by the way. I just didn't get it. James Harden, he played here for 8 or 9 years. He was also paid very well for his time here. And we just couldn't seem to make it in the playoffs, wish him luck, hope he does win that championship. I'm sure he deserves it, but I'm just not sure I'd retire his jersey as a Rocket.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. I mean, at least I wouldn't have done it now. I mean, maybe a few years down the line, things settle down. Both sides are more calm about it.
Why announce it now? I mean, when he retires, you could say, let's sign him to an honorary one-day contract, make him a Rocket again, and he retires as a Rocket. And I could see that. I totally get that. But because I know, Clyde Drexler did the same thing, I believe, in Portland. He came here at the end of his career, won a couple of championships, was on the team about 4 years or so. And later, he went back to Portland, had an honorary deal where he signed with him, and then they retired his jersey. I totally get that, because he started his career with the Trailblazers and made his mark with them before he came to the Rockets. But it's just weird. But then again, Houston sports are strange right now. They really are strange.
Yeah, it's a weird time if you're a Houston fan across all 3 sports. I don't know what to say about the Rockets team. I mean, as far as the future, it doesn't look good, but at the same time, if they keep on losing the way they're losing, that first round pick that they gave to OKC back in 2019, they can actually retain that pick. And it could be a top 5 selection because they're not tanking, Todd. They're really that bad.
They're just bad. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that now. Yeah, they're not throwing in the towel. They're just horrible. They're really bad. Probably the worst Rockets team we've seen in many years. But they don't really. We'll look at the All-Star game. They don't really have any right now. And so, it's just another day in the chapter of Deshaun Watson's imminent exit from Houston. How long is this going to go on? My thing is that maybe they're waiting on the strategy for draft day. And if they are, that could be it. Draft day comes up, they make those last minute moves, catch everybody off guard. Maybe that's what they're doing.
That's probably what they're doing. It's just, this is a very unique situation because Deshaun has a no trade clause.
Yeah.
So you can trade him just anywhere you want to, and he has maybe 4 teams on his list. So with that being said, if you're one of these 4 teams, you're not giving up as much as you have to because the playing field has shrunk between.
Yeah, right.
So I think Houston, what they're doing is probably waiting, like you said, to the last minute and seeing out of those 3 or 4 teams, which of those 3 or 4 teams will give the best trade package come April, come draft day maybe, or the day before the draft.
Right.
But if you're Houston, it's going to look very bad on you because they're saying they're prepared to sit on this. It's gonna look very bad on you if you have a guy who's making $20 million a year, and he won't get paid if he sits out the whole year.
Yeah,
but you can't have a quarterback, your best player, at home while you're playing in Reliant for 16, 17 weeks. It doesn't look good on the team. The optics looks bad. It gives a bad message to the rest of the team. Trade him, this spring. Do what you can and start over from scratch.
Well, who's on their roster to throw the ball around right now? I don't think AJ McCarron, I don't know who they have. Who are they going to put under center? And they don't even have a center right now. Okay. But who are they going to have on their roster that's a viable quarterback? What are they going to do? Get back Ryan Fitzpatrick? What are they going to do?
You're going to sign a grizzled veteran as a stopgap for 1 year stopgap, or hopefully this haul that you get trade-wise, you might get multiple first-round picks.
Yeah.
Maybe they might throw in a veteran in that trade package too to stick in there and play for a year to the quarterback that you draft is ready to take over. But whoever you trade Deshaun Watson for, and let's say that first-round pick becomes, I don't know, Josh Fields or the quarterback from BYU. He should not play this year, Todd. They have no offensive line. They have no weapons.
It's a mess.
Just sit out for a year, let him develop, let him watch the field, let him watch the veteran quarterback, and get him ready for 2022. Because if he plays this year, he's going to get stoned like David Carr did.
David Carr all over again.
Yeah.
It really is. Well, Frank, it'll be interesting to see what happened. The Texans are Texaning, as folks like to say, and that's what they continue to do. Frank, have a good weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next week, huh?
Thanks so much, boss man. Can't wait. Tuesday and Fridays, guys. I'm here on the chat.
All right. So Frank will be back next week. We'll be back Monday, and we'll continue our special programming with musical guest Rozy, R-O-Z-Y, which we thought would be a good band to bring in honor of Women's History Month. So keep an eye out for that. That's on Monday. Also, we'll have a visit with Sylvia De Garcia of the International Business Program from HCC's Business Center of Excellence. All that and more next week on Up to the Minute. We'll be back live 10 a.m. on Monday for Up to the Minute.